Greetings, family, kinfolks. Welcome back. Oh, y'all back too? And y'all mean y'all haven't subscribed? Subscribe, people. Come on now. You know they say each one teach one, each one support one too. Okay? Let's show our support. All right. But it's glad to have y'all back. I really appreciate y'all coming back. But sometimes it gets boring here. But then again, I don't stay bored long because, I'm that type of person. I'll find something to do, you know. But yeah, but it's, like I said, it's good to have y'all back. I really appreciate it. I'm very appreciative. Okay? Can't you tell? I keep saying it. I guess talking can't really tell you nothing. It's actions. Well, I'm back, so that means I'm happy y'all are back too. All right, so I want to talk about something a little more closer to my heart, and that's my children. I know my children right now, they upset with me. Your children get upset with you sometimes, and they stop speaking because they don't like your discipline. They don't like your tone. And for some of you parents, you're petty. And I gotta admit, I've been petty before. Probably I've done some petty things recently and didn't know. But I want to share with you a lot of the things, or some of the things that I've learned having, excuse me, having my children. Give me a second. I think I need to wet my whistles. But trying to get comfortable here. I decided I'd do the couch today instead of sitting in the chair. Always having to sit up, I can just like chill, sit back and relax with y'all, have my drink of water right there on the side. And I'm sorry, I know I keep reaching up here with things because I see stuff popping up. And I don't need those kinds of distractions. So I want to I don't really too much care to share certain personal things with y'all and get y'all in my business. That's not what I'm about. But in this situation, it's all about our experiences, and I want to share with you all, my kin folks, what I've learned from my children from the time they were small until now. They're adults now. My oldest, I have 5, and my oldest is 32, and my youngest is 24. All right? I have 2 boys and 3 girls. And I'm going to tell you, it hasn't been easy. For the most part, I've been a single mom. And no, they all don't have the same dad. And for y'all who think I'm a HO, just remember that HO or HOE is a garden tool. I like gardening. So if y'all want to call me a gardening tool, you know that word. I'll be that. I'll be that. But no, in my situation, I never knew my father. So, in a lot of cases, when girls grow up without their father, sometimes they can be a bit wild. Well, I wasn't a bit wild. My grandparents raised me, but they were very strict. So when I got out of the house, I called it burning out all of my desires. So by the time I was 29, I started to put on the brakes and slow down. I was throwing my heart out there all over the place because my definition of love was tainted. Not to say I didn't receive love, because my grandparents showed me love, you know. In some cases, I just thought my granddad was kind of mean, but he was a loving man. He showed it in his own way. You know, don't we all show it in our own way? Sometimes we can't express it. So, in that case, in raising my children, the way I raised them when they were babies, I loved cuddling, you know, when they were babies. You know, that baby smell, I loved it. But as they got bigger, I had to get a little more serious, because you want your children to show you respect, and then at the same time, you want them to be able to have fun. And for me, it was kind of hard, because I really did not understand what it took to raise children in a healthy household, because, you know, for the most part, their fathers weren't there either. You know, you may have considered me at that time when I was young mean. Some people would have thought I was spoiled. I didn't think I was really spoiled. I really didn't, because, you know, I got them whippings. I was one of those children. My grandma said, "Go out there and get me a limb off the tree, because it needs to talk with some parts of you." Okay, she might not have said it like that, but those are my words. So I used that same discipline. You know, I didn't tell them to go get things off the tree. You know, I used my hand, or a house shoe, or belt. You know. No, the way in a black household growing up, most parents disciplined their children that way. So nowadays you would think it was abuse. So you can't really judge a person for how they do things sometimes, because they're usually using the same or similar tactics as their parents or whoever their guardians were. Okay, because, you know, everyone grew up in a household with parents, a parent. You know, it could have been an uncle, aunt. It could have been adopted, foster home. So, you know, and that's why you have to take those into consideration. So as my children were growing up, you know, I could see when they were young, you know, my first one, of course, his father named him. But the other children, I named them. My oldest daughter, her father named her. But I mostly took part in naming my other children. And I based, even my oldest, you know, because we became Muslims. They were, I only had my first child. He was a baby. And he wasn't even walking yet. He was a baby. He was some months old. How many months? I don't remember. Hold on. Could have been about 4 or 5 months. And just my experiences raising my children and watching them, they were all so different. My oldest son, very loving and caring person. And the way I gave birth to him was through a C-section. And me and my sisters, I have two sisters. I'm the oldest. You know, we were born by way of C-section. But I could see the difference in his development opposed to my other children, who all the other 4 I gave birth to them naturally. And when I say naturally, through the birth canal. They went through that, through the tunnel. Okay? So, like I said, I could see a difference. Even with myself, I noticed his development was similar. He wasn't, you know, we weren't slow, It's just that even in my development and how I learned things, I was the type of person I needed it one on one. Some people can't sit in a classroom full of 28 or 29 other children, or however many children it is. We need a small group or one on one. Me, I can't really say I really cared for one on one, but I needed to learn at my pace. That's what it is. I realized I had to learn at my pace. So you can give me something, you can teach us. I could be in a classroom full of people, but I needed to take my time to understand it my way. I had to give it my own flavoring. I had to dig deep. I had to do some research behind it. But at that time growing up, I didn't know anything about doing research because we weren't taught that at a younger age. So watching my children develop, I really enjoyed it. I had fun with them. Yeah, there were some times it was irritating because I'm telling you, 5 children in one household. Then it got to the point where I really needed some help because financially there were some ups and downs. So I allowed my 2 older girls, I thought it would be best that they stayed with their father because I felt like he could probably teach them the ways of men. They could probably come to understand men better. Okay, but sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work out good that way. But in my case, that's what I thought. So I kept the other children because there were times we were homeless. We had to go into homeless shelters. When I say shelters, probably like 3. And then the other times I lived with people. Once a family member, and then the other time they were just people outside my family. And I allowed them to express themselves, to talk. Some people outside looking in would think, because I've had some people to put their 2 bits in and say, "You gonna let your child talk like that to you?" And I didn't think they were talking any kind of way disrespectful because I know, they know. But I allowed them to express themselves. So to me, if it was something, even after I spanked their butt and they wanted to express themselves, even if it was to say, "I'm leaving," I'd be like, "Okay, bye." Because at a certain point, you just get tired as a parent, especially if you're by yourself. So me, I was by myself, and I was getting tired. I wish on the weekends I could send them to the dad. And I understand the importance of having a father inside the home, because sometimes I was trying to be both. And we women, they say we can't be both. But sometimes you get some good children in a bunch. They might have a little click or clack there, here or there. But, when you become an adult, I had problems. There was things that I didn't understand growing up. And you're not going to get all your answers in the home. Some of those answers, you got to go out and find it out yourself. And a lot of people will judge how I raise. Everybody can't be raised the same way. There are children overseas whose parents can't even afford to feed them, and they just set them free on the streets. Okay, so don't heckle me. A lot of parents, we do the best we can. We try to make sure we maintain a shelter. Even if it means that financially we get down, we still go find some shelter. Okay? Because there would be times, I didn't have a drug problem because I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink until I was I would taste it, but I wasn't a drunk. But then I stopped because I really didn't like taste. I think I was just doing it because of trying to feed him, kind of drinking. I didn't like to get drunk, but I did in the privacy of my home when my children weren't at home. I tried getting drunk just to see what it felt like. And baby dears, that wasn't me. So my grandma raised me right, because she never drank or smoked a day in her life. I even tried to smoke a cigarette. I was like, that's the nastiest, black tasting stuff. You got to worry about me doing that. Let me try it once. And I even tried the other herb, the herbal stuff that comes from the ground. Don't tell me it's a drug, because if it comes from the earth, it's considered an herb. So I tried that, and eventually I got tired of that because I don't want to say I became vain. I was kind of vain because I was like, hold on, this stuff makes me want to eat a lot, and I'm not about that life, Because me, I don't like to eat a lot because it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like to get full, but y'all not here to hear that, okay? But so my oldest son, like I say, he's very talkative, and he wanted to be this kind of tough guy and know the streets. Yeah, that was him. My other son is quiet. The other one is very talkative. The other one is quiet. And he's always in his head. He wasn't too much in the streets because he learned that pretty much from his brother, dealing with his brother. But he kind of understood the streets, and he realized for himself, he understood about being in the streets. I'm looking at this, look, is this a spider? Excuse me, you guys. It was kind of like floating by. I don't know if it was a spider, but anyway, it happens. It happens. Sorry, I had to go there. So, yeah, he was quiet. He was mostly in his head. He didn't talk much, and even when he did talk, he talked kind of low. And that kind of reminded me of my grandma. My oldest girl, very blunt and will tell you the truth. Not very talkative, but she can hold a conversation. She's very much observant and retain information. So it's to say all of them are intelligent, and they expel or express information through their experiences their own way. My middle daughter, now she's the one, she expresses herself so intellectually and eloquently, and she will correct you respectfully. She's very kind-hearted and will help you with her laughs. Okay? My youngest is similar to my youngest son. She's quiet. But what is very different about her, you back her up against the wall, she becomes a firecracker. Yes. And when I look at them, I can see portions of myself in all of them. And notice I said portion, because the other portion might be their other half. And then the other portion is who they truly are, themselves. So certain things they take from family or parents and utilize that information to whether or not they'll take this portion and hold on to it and keep it because they find that portion of you good, and then the other portion, they're learning about themselves, just like I had to learn about myself, and that's what I'm expressing here. So the one that sticks out the most to me is my youngest, my daughter. And she lives with me here. She just moved back here with me. And when she left maybe weeks or months after she turned 18. Because she got tired of my rules. And who doesn't get tired of their parents' rules? Just like she was in a hurry to get away from me, I was in a hurry to get them away from me. Couldn't wait till they grow up. And then even when they grew up and all of them moved out, I did feel a little lonely, you know, what they call experiencing the emptiness, a little lonely, so used to hearing the fussing, the laughter, hearing the noises, the back and forths, you know, you get used to it. But then when you get used to silence, you're like, okay, now I remember why I was so in a hurry to get them out. Because, you know, me as a mom, I was cooking just about every day. Go to work, come home and cook. You know, try to have enough leftovers. Did my best to teach them how to cook. Because, you know, they were called what they call latchkey children. So when they come home from school, they had a key to get in. So you had to teach them to make sure they know how to make sandwiches. And sometimes, you know, you had to teach them how to make meals. You know. And with my youngest daughter, you know, she's been through so much. What I do see about her is kind of precious. And to the point, it does bring me to tears because she's been through so much. And when I watch her, you know, she means well. But some of the things she's went through, you know, she's had to experience some situations that brought on some issues for herself. Not to the point where it affects you too much if you don't understand. Because in the beginning when she came back, I didn't understand, you know. It was as if her shadow side was very separate from her, what they call, you know, you say your shadow side, or a side of you that is aggressive, that protects the part of you that is not so aggressive. And I have seen that split with her. And mind you, she's still very intelligent. It's just that also she experiences what they may call medical people, what they call themselves professionals. And not to put a lot of y'all down, I'm not. There's even portion of y'all who malpractice, that's what they call it, malpractice, who just mess up stuff, mess up people, not really into healing. They're in it for the money, and you got to keep it real. And some of them get the big heads because they think they're gods, because they can tamper with your bodies and your minds and your souls. So she got caught up in the system. And she wasn't, you know, it's not really hallucination. We institutionalize people who go through a spiritual awakening. And that's how we see it. Some people can control it and not get to the point where another person will hospitalize you. You know, because she was around people, when she left, she was around people that didn't understand it and thought she needed medical help. When she went through an awakening, and hers was so drastic, it brought on other symptoms, which brought about some traumas and triggers. And I went through that. But I knew how to hide it. And there were times, and There were times I didn't know. So this was why I went through financial ups and downs, because I couldn't keep a job because it was so noticeable to people around me. And when I was able to get control of it, it was through some years of learning about my culture, my gender, my race, my heritage, spiritual understandings, and not understandings. And the reason why I say not understanding is because understanding comes into place when you go outside of yourself, seeking other people's books to read, trying to relate to their information to see if it's similar to what you're going through. But when you have an understanding, you look at portions of yourself, and that's where the observation of my children came in. And my most defined observation was my youngest daughter. She's been through more than me. And she's triumphing through it. Portions of her life was put on hold because of her traumas. At a point when she was getting ready to enter into nursing school, was put on hold. So she's come home to start again. And right now, you might ask, well, where is she? She's at work. Because she's trying to start again. And there's other portions of her life I'm not going to tell you about. But I have so much respect for her. In the beginning, when she got here, it was complicated for me, because I've never experienced myself outside of myself to the extreme she was expressing. And right now, medically, she has to get a hold on it until she can come to understand it and stop allowing people outside of herself. Even to the point, and I have to admit, because it was scary for me, I thought that's what she needed. But later on, I come to realize, wow, because I wasn't the one who suggested the medical advice. It came from someone else. But when she got a hold of it and just observing it helped me to really, truly understand. I was looking at myself outside of myself to the extreme. And she's so precious and loving. It's like a delicate flower. And it helps me to see myself. But with myself, something that she's going to have to learn, you're going to have to come to understand others, which will help you understand them, overstand, so that overstanding and understanding will help you stand strong. You come to learn how to live, be in the world and not of it. So people, I'm going to end this video right here. I appreciate. I know you're probably waiting for more, for me to bring out more. But I'm going to end it in regards to my conversations about my children, because I don't want to go too deep into her life. But my path and my experiences, what I bring to you is my experiences to help you to relate. And sometimes to explain certain things. Think about these institutions, the system that we're in, and why it has to fall, and why it's falling. Because if you look across America, maybe even in certain other countries, because even though we haven't had to live, a lot of us haven't lived in those countries or had some experiences in those countries, they may have some dysfunctions of their own. But come to understand that the dysfunctions that has been introduced to us, which did not allow us the freedom to express ourselves as spirit beings and who we are first, to have a full experience of being a human, it has how you say, placed some obstacles and walls and blockages before us, which where in some people cases who was set free so soon and did not understand, and other people did not understand or overstand, it caused other people around them to force them into institutions where they really didn't belong because they weren't understood. Because in native tribes, they wouldn't have done that. They would have understood that those beings were meant for higher purposes. So then, for some of those people who turn to drugs and alcohol or something harsh, is their way of coping with rejection and not being able to express themselves to their fullest potential. So towards the end of their lives, there are some regrets. But I tell you now, don't regret. It wasn't your fault. Because your children or other people's children or other people around you, whether they're children or adults, have learned from you. And I say to my ancestors who has crossed over into the other dimensions or realms, who listen to me now, who hear what I'm saying, who feel the same way, they feel like they did not get the full experience. They know that their experiences that was halted allow us to see what they went through so we can push harder, fight harder, to be able to have the freedom to express and live and have that full human experience as spirit beings. Some of us are here today who have been born in this day and time and are being born or have recently been born, are here to be able to fully express and stop the curse and be that savior to our families. So in the past, we had family members looking to the sky, waiting on a savior to come out of the sky because that's what they were taught. But that was just a belief. And a belief to me is something that you accept without good reasoning and doing your own research and without common sense. So when you do tap into those common sense intuition to help guide you, and any other spiritual essence that's there for you to guide you here, you're able to move farther and have the common sense and intuitive knowing to know what you were being taught was some BS to cover up what's really going on around you. And once you really give in to who you truly are and listen to your intuition, your spirit, pay attention to your dreams, and any other intuitive knowing that comes to you, or divination, we say not divination, but divine guidance that comes to you, and you listen to that and you fully know that's for you, you will break free of the blockages that has held you down. And even as I have gotten this far, a lot of you will go even farther. In hope, and me in hopes that what I am bringing, what I'm giving to the world, this little bit that I'm giving to the world will help heal a portion of you and give you the motivation to continue with the healing of yourself and know how to heal yourself, to take control of your own lives. If I didn't do anything or give anything to anyone, hopefully what I am here today or any of the other days I've sat here, what little you got from it. Because I know sometimes I can speak in parables, but whatever you get from it, and anyone else who has come here in human form to help you understand who you truly are as a spirit being. So when you're being your authentic self in all honesty is your spirit self, having a human experience, because you know this world is an illusion. It's what you create and design, you know? But even when you create and design a world of your own that's truly, with all honesty and truth, is a reality meant for you, and not an illusion that you have to pick and become confused in. Okay, people? As I said, this is it. And I really hope you got something from it, because I did. Because, I go back and I watch it, and sometimes even as I'm sitting here, you see my eyes move in certain ways, because I'm like, wow, because sometimes it channels through. Especially, and don't get me wrong, because some people can channel something bad. But with all love, unconditionally, going out to the world to heal. And I send those energies out to you to heal. Self-heal. Because not all healers are good healers. And if you think I'm discrediting you, then a hit dog will holler. Peace. And stay blessed. And remember, I'm not here to make you think like me. I just want you to think, so that you can have some control and authority over your own lives. Live freely. Just be-ly. All right. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share this video if you want to, comment, give me some questions. Subscribe if you like this content. It only gets better. I know the start of my videos, you go back and watch some of my videos, like, okay, I need to drink to that to get to make me laugh or to really get it, or smoke or whatever. But hopefully you get it, because sometimes you have to watch it again. Some of the boring communication or information that's given to you doesn't mean that it's not information needed. or beneficial information. Either way, if you pay attention, no matter how boring it is, sometimes you got to watch more than one, because sometimes I have to do that, come back and watch it later. Like, okay, okay, click. And then I come back later. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay. You know, y'all sit in them boring lectures, but if you really pay attention to what they're saying, no matter how sleepy you get, you know, drink something, eat something that wake you up so you can really pay attention to what's being said, because you might be missing it. And then you get it. A lot of people complain it gets boring, but sometimes you got to come back to boring information, because your subconscious may have picked it up. And when you hear it or see it somewhere, you'll be like, I heard that somewhere. Oh, let me go back to Professor Borino. All right, gotta go. Peace.